This man never expected that he had only been reincarnated as a goblin for less than a month, and already two princess was willing to bear his children, and they were even a pair of twins. Thanks to the powerful genes inside Jack, the two newborn goblins had exceptional learning abilities. They learned to walk in less than an hour, and could even speak directly. However, just 6 or 7 days ago, Jack was stumped by the task of delivering baby goblins. While escorting the princess back to the royal capital, Jack suddenly noticed something unusual about their bellies, and they were growing rapidly. Although Jack found it hard to believe, he eventually accepted the fact that the twin sisters were pregnant with his children. Since he knew nothing about childbirth, he quickly sent a message to the elder goblin. Following the elder goblin's advice, they needed to find a nearby cave for delivery, because once goblin children gain consciousness, they begin to aggressively drain nutrients from the mother, and Jack belonged to a high-ranking goblin species, which required far more nutrients than ordinary goblins. Moreover, the once pregnant were two fragile human girls. Their bodies simply couldn't handle it. If the babies didn't receive enough nutrition, he might even force his way out prematurely, and in just a short while, the twin sisters had visibly grown weaker. So to save their lives, Jack came up with a very extreme solution. He forcibly removed one of his own arms, and told the twin sisters to eat it. After all, his flesh was far more nutritious than regular food, and thanks to his innate skills, his lost limb would regenerate quickly. But the twin sisters couldn't bear to do it. Yet Jack was fully aware of the dire situation, so to ensure their survival, he had to feed them by mouth, forcing them to consume his flesh. The method was crude, but highly effective. The sisters gradually regained their strength. Not long after, Jack found a suitable cave for childbirth. Even though the monsters inside were powerful, they couldn't stop his determination to save the sisters. After defeating the cave's master, Jack used his skills to create two beds. By then, the sisters' bellies had swollen to the limit, so to ease their pain, Jack kept casting anesthesia and healing spells. He didn't know how many times he repeated the process, but eventually the fetuses fully developed inside. Yet natural delivery was impossible under these conditions, so Jack had no choice but to perform the surgery himself, even though he didn't know much about it. With the help of anesthesia and healing skills, he was able to carry out the operation carefully. After an unknown amount of time, Jack's perseverance paid off. The older sister gave birth to a girl. The younger sister gave birth to a boy. Both babies were very healthy, and as for the sisters' wounds, there was no need to worry. He had completely healed them using his skills. Strangely, both babies had horns growing from their foreheads. After telling the elder goblin about this, the elder goblin said they were a special race, and might bring misfortune, because when human females bear their children, 99.9% of the time, the child shares the father's race. But this kind of hybrid race is extremely rare. Since they possess traits from both sides, they will grow up to be extraordinarily powerful, and will be rejected by their own kind. A fierce battle between both sides is inevitable in the future, so the elder goblin advised Jack to abandon them. But what fault do the babies have? Jack firmly rejected the suggestion. He believed he wouldn't let such a thing happen. Once things settled down, Jack decided to go out and hunt powerful monsters, and acquire new skills through battle. Unexpectedly, he stumbled into a massive battle. A joint force of humans and beastmen was fighting the Icefield monsters of this region. Jack sensed that the boss was incredibly strong, at least of high-tier rank, yet even with such strength, he gained no advantage against the human force. Compared to the humans Jack had seen before, this was undoubtedly the strongest team he had encountered in this world, especially their leader. Even made Jack feel a hint of danger. Soon, the battle reached its climax. After all his kin were wiped out, the leader finally erupted in rage. It turned out to be Jack's 4th tier magic, but it required charging time, so he rarely had the chance to use it, and he didn't do it to save anyone. But by doing this human unit could now fight him with full force. Jack sensed danger from the hero's charging attack, so he decided to unleash his most powerful 5th tier magic.